What is going on, all of my people of the planet? I am D Venom, and allow me to raise your vibrations. I hope that all of my people of the planet are staying on the straight and narrow and doing everything possible to not lower and jeopardize those vibrations. I myself, I've been a good boy/girl, and I have done everything possible to keep my vibrations high, meaning no drug addiction since August 24th of 2024. So with that being said, you guys, there's a mouthful to talk about, so let's dive right into it, starting right now. Baby, if that is not no New Edition / NSYNC / New Kids on the Block boy band music right there. And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Every boy band, if I'm not mistaken, had a beat similar to what we just got done listening to. That doom, doom, tsh, doom, 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 tsh, doom. Them beats are so extra lame to me. I promise you guys. But I'm just like, I'm finna fuck with my audience tonight, and I'm finna play this extra boy band beat just to be doing something, because I'm too lackadaisical in order to download my own music. So I ended up just picking something quick, fast, and in a hurry so that I can start my episode. And that's what I chose. It is what it is. Okay, you guys, I'm drinking pink Moscato, and if I'm giggly and acting a fucking mess, it is because of the Moscato. It's not because I'm naturally this goofy. All right, you guys, so as I mentioned, I hope that all is well and staying on the straight and narrow in regard to whatever. Just stay on that straight and narrow and do not fall off. I myself, as I mentioned in the introduction, that both me and the girl side of me have been very good in regard to not falling off the bandwagon and doing methamphetamine. And this has been a clean, clear journey for us since August 24th of this year. So I am proud of myself, and I am proud of my alter ego, which is the feminine side of me. And yeah, we are doing fantastic. Anyway, you guys, I have some notes, and I'm going to go by those notes here in a second. Do you guys remember a AT&T commercial back in the days? And it had multiple people on there doing multiple scenes, and why am I talking about this? But it was a cute commercial. It was like all these different races that would answer the phone and say hello in their own language. And they would, have a brief conversation before they went on to the next race of people. Anyway, there was some Asian individuals, and I'm not poking fun of Asians. I love my Asians. One of my good friends is Laos. But anyway, the girl answered the phone, and she said something, and the other girl, all I remember is Futimanhain Chummy Nun Chung, and it was that Chummy Nun Chung that got me. I said, baby, yes, and I was in love with that commercial ever since. Futi Mung Hai Chummy Nun Chung. I could be cussing your ass the fuck out, okay, in whatever language, Korean, Laos, Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese. I could be cussing you the fuck out. But I just thought it was a cute commercial, and the girls were cute that was, in that little segment that was saying the Futiman Hai Chummy Nun Chung, and I just thought it was cute, so I just wanted to bring it up and see if anyone out there in the world remembers that particular commercial. All right, sorry you guys, I spilled my wine. Thank God the top was still on it, because I would have been upset. All right, so I left you guys with a little bit of homework in regard to my last episode. I wanted you guys to write down 2 songs. One of the songs was uploaded by a person called Harmonic Healing Lofi or Lafi, but I'm pretty sure it's Lofi, Lofi. The video has I can't think of what you would call those things, but it was like red, pink, and a couple of other colors. And the name of the song is called Inner Journey. And it is the most beautiful meditation song that I have heard in a long time. And something about that song just drives me crazy. It just makes me tear up and cry every time that I hear it. I don't know a time that I have not heard that particular meditation song and did not cry or either bawl out of control. And it does really take me, I don't know about anyone else, but it takes me on a inner journey seriously. The other song that I wanted you guys to download and check out not download, but just check it out via YouTube, is called Pharaoh's Night. Pharaoh's Night. And it's an Arabian music song uploaded by Delissa. I will not forget this child's name as long as I live. Delissa. All right, Delissa. And so that was y'all homework. So did y'all check out those songs, especially the meditation song, and did it do anything for you? Is what I would like to know. Now, anyway, let me get a drink of this Moscato and a hit of my weed. 1 second, you guys. I had 2 bottles, but I drank majority of the rose yesterday, and I cleared it off today with with key lime pie. Come to think about it, I was drinking rose wine with key lime pie, and the sweetness of the wine actually paired good with the tartness of the key lime pie. Anyway, that's done. I'm done with that. So now I'm on my pink Moscato, and the makers of this wine is Barefoot. Anyway, my last episode that I uploaded for you guys, we had a bit of sex talk, and that was on Friday the 13th. And we're going to continue that. I don't know why God or Source places me in places where people are having sex. I don't know how many times I have caught people having sex, and I'm probably on the opposite end of that, because who knows how many times I've been caught having sex, especially in my ratchet methamphetamine days. But I remember when I was hoeing back in Chicago, myself and a few other girls, we were in Boys Town, and that's Clark Street, Halstead, and a couple of other streets that pretty much make up the Boys Town block. And there were straight people that would be in Boys Town as well, but Boys Town was pretty much dominated by the gays. And anyway, myself and my ex, I think it was drag queen / transsexual friend, and maybe the gay roommate or friend. No, we weren't roommates at that time. We were just going to Chicago home, and we were living, I was staying with my grandmother. They were staying with their parents or whatever the case may be at that time. Anyway, we was hoeing, and obviously this straight woman was too, because she was getting plunged on the side of the building near the sidewalk. And the dude, it was just so passionate, and I wanted to stay there and watch every last moment of it. But my friend was just like, my ex-friend was like, come on, blah, blah, blah. They was ready to continue hoeing. Well, shit, the hoeing action was right there. I mean, this woman had her skirt pulled up. The dude was behind her just pumping. And, she was moaning. Her neck was all tilted back, and he had her just, oh my goodness. It looked like a scene from a motherfucking movie. I wanted to push her out the way and pull all that dick up out of her ass and just take her place. It was just that passionate. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And I mean, I'm just like, this is happening in Boys Town. You usually see queens out there sucking dick on the corner or something, or drag queens doing something they don't have no business. But this was a straight couple, and they was, I mean, cell phones? I don't think cell phones they were popular, but they weren't that popular. At least I don't think I had one at the time, because I think I would have recorded that shit. And obviously they were exhibitionists, and that's what I meant by Source placing me places where I'm surrounded by freaks, basically. I remember living in Las Vegas, and I stayed around some exhibitionists. They were swingers, and they would fuck on the balcony and all type of shit. But anyway, this couple, this freak, I mean, it was like Sex in the City. That's what it reminded me of. Even if Sex in the City, I don't even know if Sex in the City was even a thing back then. It could have been. I just wasn't into it. I was into this though. But he was just really, and the pumps, the way he was pumping her, it wasn't all hardcore or anything like that. It was gentle love making pumps. I mean, he was just enjoying that coochie, and she was enjoying that bird. Bird is another word for dick. She was enjoying that bird, honey. And I was enjoying it for her. She was making me get moist and hot and wet. But anyway, there was another situation when I lived in Las Vegas, and there was a teenage couple, and they was on the playground. I forgot what I was doing, but I was, on the playground taking a break, chilling, and I may have been on my cell phone. And anyway, I kept watching this couple because it was just a little bit too frisky on the playground. Oops, sorry, you guys, I hit my phone. Let me get another drink of this pink Moscato. But yes, 12/12, that was the time that I just seen on the recording of this episode. But yes, they were a little bit too frisky on the playground. And they should have had their asses in school, to be honest with you, because it was around the time that the kids should have been in school. But they was on the playground frisking each other. So anyway, they ended up, the girl grabbed the dude by the hand, her boyfriend, obviously, and they disappeared towards where the bathrooms were. And I sat there for a minute, and I'm just like, something not right, I'm like, something is not right, honey, because they disappeared over by that bathroom area, both of them at the same time. And I'm just like, So I got up, and I snuck around to the bathroom area. So I went into the men's bathroom first, and I didn't see nothing. So then I snuck into the women's bathroom, and I was on my knees. And that's when I saw, in the last stall, him on his back, her on top of him, just straight riding him. All you seen was balls being smashed and all type of shit, because she was riding that dick. And and I took my phone out and I started recording it, because obviously that's what they wanted. They were exhibitionist teenage couples that should have had their asses in school, but instead they was in the bathroom fucking. So I took my phone out, and she had her hair covering her face. Her face was turned towards him, and her hair was, she had pretty long hair, so I couldn't really see too much of what was going on regarding the top half, but I could see everything on the bottom half. His pants. I mean, what if somebody else would have went into the bathroom aside from me? But I mean, luckily no one came, and well, someone did come, but luckily no one came and broke up everything and seen me, because they probably would have thought I was a peeping Tom looking at, women, which I wasn't. I was looking at them, fucking up in there. And anyway, honey, she rode him until he ejaculated, and he did that all up in her. I think there was a condom used. I'm not sure, but yes, honey, he was pumping it. Matter of fact, I need to find that SD card, because that SD card had quite a bit of juicy shit up on there. Another time that I seen a couple doing a thing was when I was Oh, this happened back in Illinois when I moved back to Rockford for a short period of time. I was walking down to the homeless shelter because I was in the homeless shelter at this time, or either I was going to the library, but I was walking somewhere downtown, and there are these stairwells that a lot of people go to either do drugs or fuck and suck and all that type of shit. In this case, I caught this woman sucking this man's dick. Now, I was familiar with them because I seen them at the homeless shelter on a couple of occasions. Anyway, this woman had her back turned towards me when I hit the stairs and seen the action. So she turned around, because I stood there for a minute. I mean, if y'all are going to be doing stuff like this and I come across, I'm going to watch until, otherwise. But anyway, she turned around and she smiled at me, and she didn't have nobody's teeth. And she was like, you can come down here, hold, let me get a drink of this Moscato real quick. Hold on. She said, you can come down here and get some of this. Paraphrasing. I looked at that mouth. Now, I know I don't have the best smile in the world, but baby, there was no chance in hell I was about to pull my pants down and put my penis in this woman's mouth. But I sure stood there and watched them. Child, that man didn't have nobody dick, but she was just slobbing and sucking on it and just twisting that little head back and forth and all type of child. And then another time that I caught a couple was in Vegas, and I was I was on something ratchet. I think I was trying to hook up with this dude. And anyway, there was a school field across the street, and I went walking through that field to meet up with, I think, the dude. And you know how they have those big electrical boxes that are usually green? Anyway, there were two big, tall electrical boxes. And as I'm walking, I passed the first electrical box, and then I seen a girl bent over doggy style position, and a dude, I think she either had the glasses on or the dude had the glasses on, but he was just hitting it, honey, and he was hitting it. And I stood there for a minute, and they gonna pull their pants down. What you pulling your pants up for? Y'all was both enough to pull them motherfuckers down when y'all thought nobody was looking, and now y'all want to pull them up when somebody is close range all up in y'all business. Pull them motherfuckers right back down, honey, and get right back at it. But they didn't. I guess they felt ashamed, and they ended up leaving and probably fucked somewhere else. But those are pretty. I've had other moments where I've caught people having, sexual acts and things like that. But these were some of my most memorable ones of people having sex practically for everyone to see. Anyway, I'm going to talk to you guys about the brother and sister that I told you guys that my spiritual team killed on my behalf. And I will get into that story here momentarily. I really don't want to talk about it, but I am, because it is a part of my life, and it is something that my spiritual team done for me on my behalf, and I see why they done what they done. Once I tell you guys the story, you guys will probably understand why. Sorry, you guys, that was my phone. I got a text message. Anyway, you guys will probably understand exactly why things went down the way that they went down. And I meant to look into this story because I really do want to know what happened to old boy. And why was he pushed out of that car the way that he was pushed out of that car? I want to know this. And I guess I was just so fucked up in the head that I just never looked into the story when I heard what happened. Anyway, let me get comfortable here. 1 second. Okay. I'm grabbing the Moscato. Anyway, I'm not sure how I met Steve. I think his name is Steve. I'm just going to go off of Steve. I don't know how I met him. I don't know if it was through other people, or if we were out and about somewhere and we ran into each other and I possibly said a couple of things, or he possibly said a couple of things, and all I know is we just partied together a lot. And I never had him, meaning I never had sex with him. I've always wanted to, but I never did. I did record him on my SD card masturbating to some porn. I did record that. He did let me go that far. But as far as touching it or anything like that, none of that happened. But I remember that I had walked down to his place because he stayed with his mom in Vegas near what's the name of that damn street? Oh man, Charleston. It was Charleston and Okie. Damn. I know West Charleston has something to do with it, and I'm trying to think of that one street. I think it's Maryland. Anyway, they stay near the corner of that particular street, I think in a blue house, and he stayed with his sister and his mother, and he himself was about 40 something years old. His sister probably around the same age, maybe a little older than he. Anyway, I remember it was myself, the sister, and a few of their friends that was at Steve's house this particular night. And we were all out there, you know, getting high and drinking and stuff like that. And we were having a conversation with each other. And I hate Caucasian people. I cannot stand when I am having a conversation with you guys that automatically just turns left and it becomes a racial type of topic of conversation. I hate when that happens. And I was the only token black person there at this particular time. There was no other black people there except myself amongst, you know, pretty much all of these, you know, white people. And anyway, the conversation turned left and all of a sudden it got to getting racial, and I'm just like, where is all of this coming from? And it got to the point where, you know, history was brought up, and I will admit I am one individual that knows my history, but I don't know my history, so I really didn't have any backup in regard to what they were saying. And they were saying some pretty harsh ass shit. I promise you that. I can't remember some of the things that were said, but I did speak up on a few things, and myself and the sister of Steve got into it. And I remember saying something about, I don't give a fuck. And I remember her looking at me square in the face and saying, I don't give a fuck either. I mean, she was the tough cookie. I give it to that bitch. She was the tough cookie. And we went at it for a little while, you know, and then I was a little upset because Steve had joined in the topic of conversation, but he was more on their side than what he was on my side. And I was upset about that because he started to show his true colors, and the colors that he was showing I didn't too much care for. But anyway, going back in on the racism of it all, it was a lot of stuff that was just being thrown at me, and I can't think of some of the more brutal things that were said, but I do know that I ended up dismissing myself, and I think I ended up going home, and I don't think I talked to Steve for a couple of days. I seen him, I think a few days after that happened. Why I wanted to talk to him, and I know why, because I wanted to, you know, I wanted to fuck him. I wanted him to fuck me, or however it was going to go down, I wanted it to go down. And the fact that he was a hard mouse to catch, that's what really drew the chase on for me. But anyway, I remember we were in a conversation with each other, and I don't know what made me ask about that damn sister, but I'm just like, well, how's your sister? I can't think of what her name is. And he said that she died. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, we just all were around each other a couple of days ago. And he was like, no, she dropped dead of, I don't know if he said a heart attack or what, but she died. And I'm just like, I was just shocked, because I'm just like, we had those words with each other. We got into it, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, how is it that this woman is dead like this? So anyway, Steve and I hung out, I'm going to say probably a couple of days or so after that. And I went looking for him at his mom's house. And I never really seen the mother. Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to get situated. I'm lying on the floor. And it's getting a little uncomfortable. I never really seen the mother because she was always upstairs. I just remember, hearing her voice when she would call, Steve or her daughter or something like that. But aside from that, she was pretty much incognito. But anyway, she would never really answer the door, but I think she answered the door on this occasion and said that he wasn't there. And I went to a bar where we would frequent, myself, Steve, the sister, a couple of other people. Well, it really wasn't a bar. It was more like a you can gamble. Well, it was a bar. You can gamble in there and do all. I forgot the name of it, but we went there, and I went there looking to see if Steve was there, because he would do little odd jobs for the bar, and they would pay him, cash. Anyway, it was not until I talked to the bartender that night is when I found out what happened to him. And we were talking, and I asked about Steve. I'm like, where's Steve? I haven't seen him in a couple of days, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, you didn't hear? And I'm like, hear what? And she was like, he was pushed out of a, moving vehicle, and a driving vehicle. And I'm like, what? Because it didn't seem like Steve done anything. I can't say it. I don't know what he done when I wasn't around him. He could have owed somebody some money. Maybe something got out that shouldn't have got out that he knew about. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was tied up to his sister. Maybe she got a hold of something, and dope wise that took her out. And I don't know. I can't say what the fuck happened. All I know is that she told me this man was pushed out of a moving vehicle, and that's how he died. And this car must have been going extremely fast in order for him to get pushed out of it and instantly, died like that. And so it took me back to that particular night when we were all sitting in front of his mom's house, myself, Steve, his sister, and whomever the other people were that was out there that night. And it just made me think, and it made me think, and I started thinking hardcore, and I'm just like, this did not happen on my behalf. I know it didn't. And I remember, I think I stayed at the bar for a little while. I may have had a drink or so. And I started walking back home. And I only stayed up the street from Steve. And I think that I was teary-eyed at that particular time. And I don't know if I waited until I got in the house, or I pulled off, or I walked off, because I didn't have a vehicle at that time. I think I walked off of my path just so I can ask the spiritual realm, especially my grandmother, who had already passed at that time, did you guys do this on my behalf? Now, I think I waited until I got home, because I remember bawling and bawling and bawling. And I think I waited until I got home. And I closed my eyes. And I put myself back in that situation. I remember everything that was said. I remember all the racial jokes and all the racial things that was said. All of that. And now that I'm reading this book in regard to spiritual guides and ancestors and deities and ascended masters and nature spirits, I truly believe this happened on my behalf of the spiritual realm. And I remember closing my eyes and I called my grandmother forward and I asked her specifically, Grams, did you take them out on my behalf? And any other time I would cry about this story, but I'm not doing that today. I don't know why, but I don't know. I don't know why I'm being extra strong about it today, but any other time I would get emotional about it. But I asked my grandmother flat out, did you take them out on my behalf because of that particular night that I could not defend myself in that situation? And the energy that I felt after answering that question and the how can I say it? The energy, my intuitive vibes. I mean, all of it just kicked in, and basically, the answer was yes. And I just bust out crying, and I couldn't stop, knowing that my spiritual family care for me and love me that much that they were willing to take out, in a spiritual sense, this brother and sister for fucking with not only me, but talking shit about the ancestors and talking shit about pretty much my grandmother in their own little way. And, you know, just talking a bunch of shit about my people in general. And I had no defense, none whatsoever. And once again, it kind of reminded me of my Vegas days when I was in that house full of individuals being ridiculed and talked about because I didn't want to sleep with another queen. And I think I told you guys about that. But this time, action was taken. And that action was taken by the spiritual realm. And they showed me how powerful they can be. And they showed me that they are definitely real. And they showed me that they are not to play with. And not only did I have to learn this lesson the hard way, but so did that brother and sister. To drop dead just like that. And this was a couple of days after all of that went down. And then for the brother to be thrown out of a moving vehicle to his death. And honestly, he had a lot to do with it because he had a couple of things to say too. But it was mainly the sister that was, you know, going off, and a lot of their other friends, and it was all of them. Just put it that way. It was all of them. It was all of them. But to hear what happened just really fucked me up. And when I started realizing that I'm spiritually connected like that, I didn't really realize how connected I am spiritually until I went back on that particular night and reflected on everything that happened. And I thought to myself, wow, I am more spiritually connected than what I give myself credit for. the spiritual realm really went out on the limb to show, for one, they love me and they care for me, and they're not going to tolerate anyone talking about them, more or less me. And they're real. They wanted me to know this, and trust me, I do. But it's a fucked up story, and I know it doesn't sound that fucked up. Let me rephrase. I'm pretty sure it doesn't sound that fucked up to a lot of you guys. You know, y'all probably thought y'all was going to hear something gory or whatever the case may be, but it's messed up to me. You know, especially when you've just seen these people, regardless if it was under bad circumstances or not. You've seen these people, and you hung out with these people, and you talked to these people, and you done drugs with these people, and you know, all of that stuff. And to know that, damn, you know, a day or so later, one of them's not there, and then a day or so later after they're not there, their siblings no longer there. You know, they're dead too. And I've been around a lot of death growing up. I've seen a lot of people pass away, unfortunately. Some of that's due to, like, let me rephrase. Some of that was done right in front of my eyes, and some of it wasn't. I remember an occasion where my mom's ex-boyfriend, his name is or was Billy, and he was a crazy, stupid ass motherfucker. And hold on, let me get situated. And he was very jealous at the fact that my mom, you know, is a beautiful woman, and she had a lot of men that was attracted to her. And the main purpose is she's with you. She's not with them. In regard to the men that were attracted to her, he couldn't get that. He wanted her to himself, and he was going to prove this. And I remember my grandmother used to have a lot of card games, and the card game that they like to play is called Pity Pat. You match up some cards, you win some change. Anyway, my grandmother, my mom, and a cousin of mine, and maybe one other person, I don't think, but I think it was just them three. It was just them three. They were playing Pity Pat, you know, at the kitchen table. And I don't know what happened prior to why Billy wanted to kill my mother. But anyway, my brother and I were sitting on the floor. My brother, meaning my eldest sibling, were sitting on the floor playing with each other. And another cousin of mine was coming over to join the Pity Pat game. But they didn't make it there. They made it there at the wrong time. Anyway, I remember that Billy came to the house and he knocked on the door. I don't know if someone let him in or what, but I do know that my cousin was coming over around the same time Billy was coming over. My cousin's name, Chester Alexander. He was in the army or the military, and he had a lot of awards and stuff like that. I remember him clearly. Anyway, I think Billy came over a couple of minutes or so before Chester was to show up. And I think that's why they let him in, thinking that it was Chester. So anyway, he came in the house. He had a gun, waving it all around. And I remember my mom, my grandmother, and my mother all ran into the utility closet where we were staying at 663 Score Street in Rockford, Illinois. And they locked themselves in there. And he could have easily shot my brother or myself or anyone else that was in the house. And I think he shot through the door a couple of times. And at that particular point, my cousin Chester ended up coming, and Billy ended up shooting him. a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken, and he ended up leaving and running away from the house. Police were called. I remember red and blue lights all over the place, yellow tape around the apartment. I remember deep, rich red blood that was coming from my cousin Chester. I believe the chest area. It was so deep and it was so rich, just that deep, rich red blood. And it was just flowing freely from my cousin. And I think he was a cousin of mine. And that's traumatizing to a child. Can you imagine what I'm going through? You know, even when I had to rekindle some of these particular stories, it's difficult. Just like being molested, you know, it's difficult to rekindle a lot of that stuff. But some things have to be rekindled in order to tell your story, just like what I'm doing right now. I had to rekindle those moments in order to tell these stories, whether they're the good stories or the bad stories. You know, my life isn't all that perfect. And to know that even through all of that, even through all of what I've gone through, from what you guys know of me, I'm strong enough to leave methamphetamine alone. This is enough to make a person never want to be sober. You know what I mean? But I don't need drugs in order to deal with certain things that play a role with certain emotions when it comes to me. And I don't know, overall I'm just happy that I'm just not there anymore in regard to my life, and I'm just going in a whole different direction. And you guys can too. Yeah. All right, I'm going to end this episode. I just wanted to shoot the breeze with you guys and open up a little bit more in regard to myself and my life and what I've been through and all of that stuff. I'm going to go through my notes and just make sure that I haven't forgot anything. I don't think I have. All right, you guys, I'm going to finish my wine, and I'm going to probably go to Piestewa. I think that's the name of it, Piestewa Mountain Preserve. Piestewa, you people of Arizona know exactly what mountain preserve I'm talking about. Piestewa Peak Mountain Preserve. I'm going to probably go out there and get a peace of mind and just relax and maybe read some more of this book that I have, these 7 spiritual guides and how to communicate and connect with our cosmic helpers by Yamil Yamuna. So I'll probably read a couple of more pages of that and, get my life. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for allowing me to raise your vibrations, regardless if I'm telling nasty stories or, or not. And let's get back to our boy band beat. All right, my people of the planet. Once again, thank you guys for downloading all of my episodes or whatever episodes you want to download. I really do appreciate that. I am D Venom. You guys stay good. You guys be good. 43:43, the time of the recording. Anyway, you guys be good. And until my next episode, namaste. Out.